All right, what's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2015 Audi A3. Up front is a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, if you guys are fans of the channel, you'll know that I recently reviewed a 2017 Volkswagen Golf GTI, and I have to say the similarities between that and this are very, very prominent, and we'll talk about that as the video goes on. But let's get back to that 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4. Well, it makes 220 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, as well as gets 24 miles to the gallon, 33 miles to the gallon on the highway, 24 city, 33 highway. That's not too bad. However, those are the exact same numbers as the Mark 7 Golf GTI I drove. This is the premium, so this is the premium engine offered here in the A3. You could get a smaller engine, a 1.8 liter, but we have the full 2.0. I really like it. I really like the engine. I think Volkswagen has really hit their stride with this engine because they use it in absolutely everything. The base model Porsche Macan has this engine. I drove an Audi A3 Sportback with this engine. I've driven a lot of different vehicles with this same engine, and the story is pretty much the same across the board, minus the Porsche Macan, and that is that it's quick, it's fun, it gets decent gas mileage, and that's all you can really ask for. My only hesitation with the Porsche Macan with this engine is the Macan is so heavy, it really didn't feel like it wanted to move. But in here, it feels absolutely great. All right, we'll do a little pull here. Yeah, there it is. There's the turbo spooling. It does take a second for the turbo actually to spool up, but once it does, man, it's a good, solid kick. It's not gonna break any land speed records, but it feels good. Like I said, paired to it is a dual clutch automatic transmission. Audi calls it the S-Tronic. It's really a DSG from a Volkswagen, just renamed. It's a dual clutch automatic transmission, and it is quick. It is very, very quick to shift, and I absolutely love that. One thing I noticed as soon as I got into the A3 was just how light the steering is. It is so incredibly light. I was scared it wasn't connected to anything. That's how light the steering is. Last but not least, this is the Quattro. So this is all-wheel drive. I absolutely love that as well. I think turbocharged all-wheel drive cars are some of my favorite cars ever made, and this definitely fits that bill. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have two main gauges. On the left is my tachometer with coolant down at the bottom right, and on the right is my speedometer with fuel at the bottom right. And I love the fact that the fuel actually has like bars. It has like health bars almost to sort of help you distinguish how much fuel you have. I really, really like that. In the center, I do have a little information screen just giving me pretty basic stuff. I can look at my trip odometer, my average speed, average MPG, my time spent in the car, distance till empty, the date, and then we're all the way back down to the odometer. Very clean, simple, easy to read, and that's what I need out of gauges. The left side of the steering wheel only controls that center screen in the gauges. On the right, I have my voice commands, volume, and my little asterisk or star button, whatever you want to call it. This I really, really like. This is in most modern Audis. So the steering wheel button can actually do a lot more than I originally thought. We can do voice guidance on and off, day-night map on and off, reduce instrument display, change radio or media, or skip forward. So we have a couple different options for what we can make that button do. That is awesome. I like this a lot, just because if you're going to own a car, you should be able to make it your own and have a button that can do something specific. A lot of steering wheels don't have this, and so you're just stuck with whatever buttons are on there. But this, you can actually program it to do something you specifically want, and I think that that's absolutely genius on Audi's part. To the left of me, I have a vent as well as my headlights and dimmer switch for the gauges, and then on the door I have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and my power windows. Very, very standard, but clean, simple, and easy to see. Now we get into the center, and I was hesitant at first because I thought this car didn't have a center screen when I first got into it. However, it hides itself away. So when you turn off the car, it goes down, but when you turn it on, it actually pops up out of the dash, And that is absolutely cool. Kind of makes me feel like James Bond a little bit when it actually floats up. I really, really like that. Down below that, we get two very large heating and cooling vents. They are working very pleasantly on this very, very hot day. 82 degrees at 9 a.m., so you know it's going to be a bad one. Then down below the vents, we do have a lot of dead switches, which is unfortunate because this is the premium. This is the Audi A3 Premium, and we still have dead switches. My thought here is that it's probably for the convertible top because you could get a convertible A3. But I do have my parking sensors on and off, my hazard lights, traction control off, and then I have a button to put down the screen, so I can actually manually put down the screen whenever I'd like to. Even while I'm driving here, I could flip it down. I guess you won't be able to hear that, but I flip the screen down. You'll just have to trust me. Boom, right back up. I like that a lot. It gives you the flexibility of if you don't want the screen there, if you just want to dim the lights and drive, you can absolutely do that. That is genius. It doesn't just turn off the screen, it actually puts it away, and I love the look of it. Very clean and simple. Actually, in the infotainment screen, we have a lot of different things, like vehicle settings, steering wheel button. Surprisingly, I don't have Apple CarPlay, which is unfortunate. Of course, I would love Apple CarPlay, but at the end of the day, I guess beggars can't be choosers. Then we have the climate controls, very basic and normal here. I do have heated seats. I do have dual zone climate, which was missing in the Mark 7 Golf. Very, very nice here. I think it looks great, and it functions really, really well, which, like I said, today is a little bit of a scorcher, so I am pleasantly enjoying the AC right now. Then I have a 12-volt outlet, 2 cup holders, and the shifter. The shifter is very standard Volkswagen shifter. I mean, it's not anything crazy. It's not anything different. It works, it functions, and I like it. I can plus minus it if I would like. And then next to that, I do have my radio volume knob. I love the fact that they are down on the center console now. It's a lot more ergonomic. It's a lot more comfortable to change the volume down on the center console. A lot of modern cars are switching over to this, as well as I can actually like shift the button side to side. I don't know if I've seen this before. You could shift the button side to side to skip track. That's very ingenious because one knob to do two things I think is absolutely great. It declutters the center console, as well as it's just easy to use. Down below that, I have the controls for the center screen. So I have navigation, telephone, radio, and media, as well as a scroll wheel and some selector buttons. I really like this scroll wheel. It has really good feedback. It clicks. I know exactly what I'm doing without looking at it. I think overall it's a really nice setup. Down below that, I have my parking brake and then what looks like a button, but it seems to be just a dead switch. The seats are decently comfortable. They are leather. They're not anything extravagantly comfortable. They're not anything crazy, you know, cool looking. They're not crazy sport seats with high bolsters. They're pretty average seats. They're comfortable, like I said, and they are power as well as heated, so that is very, very nice. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2015 Audi A3, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of room back here. I do get my own vents with adjustments, so that is very, very nice down below. I have power locks on the doors. I have, of course, power windows, and I do have a center console. It opens up, as well as cup holders come out of the front, which is super nice, but it's a very basic back seat. This is still a smaller sedan, so you're still gonna have smaller sedan space, i.e. this. So you could definitely seat people back here. They'll be okay. I'm 5'11", and my head is barely touching. I can adjust a little bit. If the driver's nice, I can move up a little bit, but this is my driving position. It is what it is. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. Also, last but not least, about the interior, very sizable, very big sunroof. I absolutely love that. You guys know I love sunroofs in cars. So now we have to talk about the looks. I absolutely love the look of this car. I love the look of the A3, and honestly, I have to say I've loved Audi's look the last probably 10 years or so. They've really upped it. I think they really look great right now, and that really carries on. This is the A3. The A3 here in America is the lowest end Audi you can get. This is the bottom of the barrel. This is the cheapest one that you can purchase. However, I don't feel like Audi just left this one out to dry. It still looks styled properly. It still looks good. And I like that. And that's what I want to talk about, is that, yes, this is the cheapest Audi you can get into brand new, or when it was brand new. but it doesn't feel like a cheap car. For instance, the Chevy Spark is the cheapest Chevy you can get into. But when you drive that car, you are reminded at the fact that you did not have enough money to get a Cruise or Malibu. The A3 doesn't feel cheap. And that's huge to me. That is what is important to me, is that I can get into this car and I feel special, but I didn't have to spend special prices. So let's get back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the review and the similarities between this and the Volkswagen Golf GTI that I reviewed last week. Well, first of all, they look similar. They were both white and they're both Volkswagen products, so they have similar design qualities, at least in my own opinion. They have the same engine, making the same horsepower and same torque. This actually gets 1 mile per gallon less on the highway. I'm not quite sure why. I would assume the Quattro all-wheel drive system. But this is all-wheel drive. The GTI was only front-wheel drive. And so really in my head, driving this, the feel of it, the look of it, it feels like a Golf GTI sedan. That's really what it ends up being. This is a GTI sedan. This is a baby GLI with a lot more features. Now, I have to be honest, for me personally, I would take the Volkswagen Golf GTI. The reason for that is because of the exhaust note. Just listen to this. The Audi A3, at least in this form, does not make a sound like that, and that's why I would pick the Volkswagen Golf GTI over the A3. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed driving the A3. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it down in the comment section below. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.